So we spend a lot of time in the first semester going over how to apply for a job, how to do an interview, how to do CVs, covering letters, application forms, etc. And the assessment is broken down into checkpoints. So we have 5 checkpoints that the students have to achieve. And they have a lecture around what that checkpoint would be, some preparation time, and then the following week they are on that checkpoint and they have to attend in order to pass that checkpoint. The first one is a skills assessment, so they look at what skills and qualities they have and what experiences they've had that make them who they are and how they can use those to be employable. The second assessment is they pick a job, so I release 5 sports management and sports marketing roles to them via Moodle and then give them a deadline that they have to apply for that job for, and they have to then do a CV, a covering letter and an application form for that job and tailor it to that job that they've chosen. Then the third checkpoint is they get selected for interview. We use a software called Sonru, and it's an online video interview, so they have to get invited to the interview. They get an email that invites them to the interview, and then they have a deadline that they have to have completed their interview by. And the way that it works is the interview software then pops the question up on the page, they can see that on the screen, and then they have time to respond to that. So they have a time limit to respond to that question. And then we can then log on and mark their interviews. So it's not face-to-face, it's not as time-consuming as trying to book in and manage 80 face-to-face interviews. They can do it in their own time. The fourth checkpoint is 2 assessment centres. So they have to do a practical assessment in the Sutton Sports Centre, which is around team building and leadership activities. And very practical, they're in teams and they have somebody watching their team and marking them on criteria. And then the second assessment centre is more like an in-tray exercise. So they get set certain tasks around emails that might come in and how they would respond to them. And then they have to produce a document. So if they're a marketing student, I tend to get them to produce a marketing plan. Whereas if they're a management student, I might get them to produce a series of invitation letters or a schedule for an event. So they have to produce that document. And then their final checkpoint is to create the portfolio of all their evidence, so everything they've done on the previous checkpoints with reflections, so how they felt, what they learned about it, and also then to develop an action plan, so a career action plan with short, medium and long-term goals for their career. The benefits for me are my attendance is so much better because they have to come in for the lesson prior to the lessons prior to the checkpoint, because otherwise they miss out on the vital important information that I'm giving to them. So they have to come in for those sessions, and then they have to be in for the checkpoint itself. So my attendance is practically 100% for the whole of first semester, which is brilliant. It's great to have a full, bustling classroom. The feedback from the students has been very good, and the reflections that you read at the end of the year really show that they've learned a lot more about themselves, and they've learned to shout about their skills and their experiences. They can be a bit timid at first and not really want to tell us about how great they are at something. So they've found that they're much better at that.
WakeHood is a tech startup based in Manchester, and content curation is the ability to bookmark information, put them into collections and express a story aesthetically. And students within universities and schools use WakeHood as a portfolio platform. So we help students tell their personal development journey through neatly organized collections, showcasing in time periods all the work that they've done within university to enhance their employability. So we allow students to organize content throughout the year to showcase their employability, or to also showcase perhaps different elements of their portfolio. And all of this is done in a neat and aesthetic WakeHood profile. And the added benefit is that the portfolios on WakeHood are very easily shareable. So that means a student could be at an event and get up the portfolio on their mobile phones and showcase it. At WakeHood, we're helping students express their educational experience better and make them more employable.